Hey guys, welcome to today's YouTube video where I'm going to break down the analysis as usual as I do every Wednesday. So I'll show you a few trades I have running. Last week we had a very good analysis. Most of what we talked about actually panned out how we had planned it, and also the mitigation plans we had in plan if market did the opposite also worked quite well. But on most of the trades that we took, which was gold and USD CAD, went perfectly fine. That was a good trade, and I remember someone in the comments saying they woke up to take profits, so you're very welcome on that. But remember, at the end of the day, I'm not giving you trading advice, telling you to buy and sell here. I'm just giving you a trade insight of how I view the markets. But apart from that, you can see I'm on the trading floor today with Mercy on my left, okay, who's doing an analysis here, and to the far end we have my partner Eugene. So all of us at the trading floor doing analysis, doing what they do best and what they love to do. Okay, so apart from that, I won't waste much time. As usual, I'll go straight into the analysis, look at the technical bits of what I'm normally looking at, and then we'll end it there for today. So let's jump straight into the charts. So yeah guys, I'm down straight into the analysis, and this one we're looking at Dow Jones. So Dow Jones industrial average, better known as US 30. So if you remember, we did a very good analysis on this last week, and I remember talking about how we had many confluences around this level. Okay, so there was a lot of confluences that was supporting the market to move higher. We got that good buy position that gave us about a risk reward of about 1:4. Okay, you can see we got that trend line, this trend line. We got a breakout, a retest in the form of a flag formation, sort of that ABCDE formation, and then market rallied back to a previous high where we kept our targets. Okay, you can see around that level is where we're aiming for market to get into. Okay, you can see we got a very good target. Market hit our profits and immediately turned to the downside. Okay, so that was a very good trade, respecting that formation that we had. Remember, it was a breakout and retest of a support level as well around this region. Okay, support, resistance and support. So you can see that line, market broke it, retest in the form of a retest of the trend line, retest of the support level, and a flag formation. And to top it off, it was also a third trend line bounce. Okay, so if you use the trend line tool, you can see it was a third trend line bounce. So this level gave us a lot of confluences. So it was a very good trade that we wanted to take, and the market went straight to the target. So we're normally looking for such patterns, and then when the market changes direction, like what we're seeing now. Okay, if I go to my if I go to my analysis now, you can see I've changed my analysis, preparing for what is next. Starting in the week, when the week started, I gave out my analysis in the journal that I always share in our Discord group as well as our WhatsApp group. So if you're not in it, the links in the description below, you can check it out. The Discord group, check it out. I always share my analysis during the start of the week under market structure. Okay, so I share this analysis talking about how market broke back below the 34,000 level, and we're expecting a retest, then a move further down, and that's exactly what we got. But I also was updating the traders and telling them I'm not very good in trading one leg correction. So one leg correction is what you're seeing here. Market impulse to the downside, get that one leg correction to the 34,000 level, and then market created a new low. So I'm not very good on trading those ones. I like better 2 legs or 3-legged corrections. Those are the things I teach here, and that's what I mainly trade. So I didn't get that, but I was anticipating it. Very good touch. Look at that market falling below. Part of the reason why we are seeing most of these markets losing value, especially on the gold market, the indexes, the bitcoins, most of the commodities, stocks, as well as cryptocurrencies are losing value because of the anticipated interest rates increase in the month of May. So we're looking at about a 50 basis point increase, which is quite a big increase, but that's what we're expecting, so that it can help curb inflation and also the oil crisis that is happening mainly around the world. Okay, so that's what we're looking at. That's why we're seeing this. So we want to be remaining bearish. If I go to the daily chart, you can see that market has mainly been respecting the moves to the downside. I have a bigger flag formation that now I'm currently watching, waiting to see how market would respect it to the downside if market continues to the downside. Okay, you can see I had my touch here, market move down, correction, impulse down, correction, and now we're getting that third impulse to the downside. So I'm always paying attention to the third impulse. Is very important. Third impulse, third trend line bounce, very important to pay attention to them, because at the same time you can see on the daily chart we got a very good double top formation at that level as market was moving up correction, then touch again, and then market finally fell to the downside. So we want to pay a lot of attention to such movement. So as long as we're below this level, below the 34,000 resistance, stand, it's a support and resistance now. As long as we remain below this level, you can see to support here, a first touch, second touch, broke, retest, became resistance, then we broke, came, retested it, moved up, and now we're below it. So we want to respect the movement to the downside. So I'm very bearish on Dow Jones. As long as we're below this level, I'm expecting to see market to move lower, targeting around the $32,000 mark to the downside. Okay, so that's what I have on this one. If we go to the next one, which is gold, gold also had a let's finish up with USD CAD. There was a good trade last week. Okay, so same thing, look at this flags formation, very good formations. Okay, look at this, impulse, market corrected, got a support, impulse, came, got a support in the form of a flag formation. This one is for the hourly. Come on. Yeah, you can see this correction in the form of a flag, a bigger flag formation in the form of also a double bottom. So sort of a repetitive pattern of what happened here. A support in the form of a double bottom, support in the form of a double bottom. Look at that impulse to the upside we got. Then we got a good flag formation. So this on the bigger time frame. Then last week on the 4 hour, we gave this analysis. Now on the lower time frame, you can see this flag was where we got a very good entry. Okay, and I remember sharing this with a student, how we got a good entry around this level. Then market sort of almost reached our stop loss, but quickly market turned and went straight to target. And ever since, market has not gotten any major correction ever since. So this was a very good analysis, a quick impulse ABC correction, and market rally to the upside. So that was part of the trades last week, including the Dow Jones. So very good trade on that one. And then last but not least, now we got a gold trade as well. Okay, so gold trade on the 4 hour chart, you're able to see we had multiple repetitive ones in the form of flags. Okay, so you can see that was one, this was the first one we had. Okay, you can see that formation over there. So we had that first one. So impulse moved to the downside, ABC correction, impulse to the downside. Then we sort of now got an extended flag formation, still within this level, okay, because this is the impulse. Market hadn't broken above it, so we hadn't changed the narrative, okay. And then market formed that impulsive move, correction in the form of this flag, and sort of an ABC correction. Market reached that level and quickly fell down to our target. And this is what I was talking about, which we shared last week. And I remember one of the people saying in the comments that their TP was hit, and they loved that analysis. So that was a very good trade. Market hasn't really corrected ever since. If you look at the daily chart, there's a bigger flag formation. I think there have been many flags forming. Let me get rid of this one sec, and this and this and this as well. So you can see this formation. Okay, look at that, very straight to the point. Impulse, ABC correction. So remember, ABC corrections are one of the most basic types of corrections you're ever going to get in any pair. Okay, you can see that touch, shooting star formation, quickly market has fallen down. Okay, so now in the bigger picture, what are we looking for? Because that's already done, that's already complete. Now I'm waiting to see how market will approach this level. Okay, you can see it's a trend line that market has been respecting for quite some time. So I want to see how that touch, first touch, second touch, I don't count this as the third touch, because once we touched here, market did not create a new high. So I'm waiting more or less to see how market will now come and respect this level when it comes now for my third touch. Okay, so remember, trading is very much subjective. To someone else, this is very much a fourth touch, and I can't say they're wrong. Everyone, their own beliefs, their own perspective of how they analyze the market. I can't tell you that you're wrong. Okay, so that's what I'm waiting for. I'll wait to see how market will come to this level, and then from there I'll wait to see what patterns can be forming. As I was showing, there's sort of maybe a bigger time frame flag formation forming, which you can pay attention to. Okay, you can see that maybe, okay, this is just a potential formation that's forming in the form of this trend line. A lot of confluences can be around this area, as well as this support level. Okay, so you can see this level, very strong confluence around this level, sort of like what we got on the Dow Jones trade last week. So if you can get the same thing here, well and better. Okay, so that's what I'm watching on gold. And remember, I'm more of a long-term trader. That's why you can see I'm paying attention to the 4 hour and the daily chart. I only go down to the 1 hour to look for more or less entries on that time frame. But this is a very good pattern. I'll be watching to see how market will come over here. You can see this formation, very good formation. So if you have shorts on this one and you're still short, 1850 is a very good target. Okay, if you're not short on that one yet if you get a good correction, then to the downside long term we can be waiting for an 1850 touch. Okay, so that's what I have on that one. So far so good. Aussie dollar, if you go to the daily chart, market has been forming a good pattern ever since we respected our flag formation. Look at that. Okay, I remember when market was starting to break above this level, because we're looking at this level of resistance. Okay, it was resistance before it was support. Over here was acting as a support. Market broke it, became a support, a resistance, support and resistance, and then now we came and retested it a second time. Okay, so what was happening around this level, this was sort of like more or less a trap for many people. Okay, by a trap I mean market sort of came, broke to the upside, sort of got that momentum as if it was getting a new high. I was also in that perspective, or in that feeling that market might be going to the higher level, okay, back to 0.800 level, but instead market formed a shooting star in the form of this sort of like a flag and basic ABC correction, and then market strongly rallying to the downside. So the dollar is still king, the dollar is still strength, especially with the interest rates being increased by the Feds for the US dollar and the US economy. That's why you're seeing a lot of these pairs falling. Okay, so this was a very good trade. You can see market has not gone back up since that level, and I can expect market to go all the way in the long term down to 0.700 level to the downside. So that's what I'm watching on this one. That's Aussie dollar. If I go to the 4-hour chart, nothing much. We just had a counter trend line that was broken. Maybe not, we might retest it. You can see this counter trend line, very good, very beautiful. You can see that first touch, second touch, third touch, market came sort of. I remember last week talking about this. I don't trade fourth touches, I don't look to trade that, and that's exactly what happened. If I traded this waiting for a long-term move to the upside, look what happened. Market fell to the downside and broke that level. So this one I stayed out. We might get a correction of this one, maybe not, but the target to the downside, I'll be looking for the 0.700 level. Okay, so that's what I'm watching on this one. If last but not least, if you just look at the dollar index, I've already covered the pairs that I trade. I only trade 4 pairs, so I'm never looking to complicate anything. And if you look at the dollar, last week we talked about it, today I'm still talking about it. Look at the patterns I've drawn on my chart. I'm just talking about how market has been respecting the Dow theory on the bigger picture. Market has been forming higher highs and higher lows. When market was in a downtrend, we were forming lower lows and lower highs. And right now we're seeing market has gone back to the previous COVID high levels. Where we are right now is where market went pre-COVID high before market crashed. Okay, so that's where we are. Look at that strong momentum market has had at the moment. Look at that rally, very strong rally. And this is why we keep saying the trend is your friend until the trend changes. So stay in the direction of the trend. When the trend changes, now you can change with the trend. Okay, but as long as we are moving up, market forming higher highs, higher lows, you want to be trading in the upside. When the market is going lower lows and lower highs, you want to be trading to the downside. Okay, so that's right now. I'm still dollar narrative, very much to the upside, looking for the dollar to continue going to the upside. If you look at Euro USD, which is correlated to the dollar index, same thing has been happening. One sec, Euro USD, don't want papers. Let's go to FXCM. So we want to look at that analysis. Look at that trend to the downside. Market has just been falling. And as I said, now this is market moving to the downside. You want to be respecting the formation of lower lows and lower highs, lower lows and lower highs, and that's exactly what we've been getting. Market is in a strong trend to the downside and forming lower lows. Okay, and the impulse is to the downside. So those are the few things you normally look at that confirms the direction of the trend. So this is a very good formation. Same thing has been happening on GBP USD. So this one's, I'm just doing a rough overlook. Okay, look at GBP USD. Let's go to one that I have analyzed. I think it's FXCM or Wanda. Here we go. Look how market broke. Okay, I remember someone asking me what is happening on this pair. I have no idea as well. There's so much momentum to the downside. You can see how it broke this level, and that's why I keep telling you, if you're looking to trade against the trend, it's very hard to do so, because when market gets to such levels and then sort of starts moving up, it's a very good buy, but at the end of the day, the trend is always respected. And normally, as I said last week, in a bear market, bull factors are often ignored, and vice versa. In a bull market, bear factors are often ignored. So it's like this. this is a bull factor that was giving support to the buys, but you can see it was ignored and market has moved to the downside. So follow the trend until the trend changes. Okay, so I think that's basically it. I don't have anything much apart from that. In terms of analysis, that's all I have for you guys today. Hope you enjoyed that analysis, and as usual, as I like saying, if you really want to understand what we do, we always have our classes going on, our online classes, as well as the physical ones. So you can always enroll and come and trade with us here at the trading floor. So I don't have much to share today. Last week, I remember I talked about us going to Strathmore. We did go to Strathmore and the people there really enjoyed. We enjoyed ourselves. So that video will be up soon for those people who missed it, because many people wanted to attend, but it was very tricky for them to come. Okay, so the video will be up and uploaded very soon. But apart from that, I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Come and visit us here at Jqua Tower, 17th floor, and let's have a chat or two and talk about forex market, because that's all we know what to do. Okay, so that's it from me. I'll see you guys next week. May the peeps be with you and have a wonderful week and a wonderful weekend. And also, I know we are having a long weekend coming here in Kenya as we commemorate the late President Mwai Kibaki, His Excellency. So have a wonderful weekend as you're doing that, and next week as we celebrate Labor Day, also enjoy that weekend. It's a very long weekend, but here for us as traders, markets won't be closed, markets will be moving as usual, and we like the action the market gives us. So that's it from me. Have a wonderful week, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.